the dog's head off.
Eating the head of the dog?
And I don't know about 5 hours worth of work for a $3.50
well,
product.
It's Taiwan, I guess.
That's a lot of work.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for helping out the last couple of days.
My pleasure.
News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, residents in Dane County are dealing with the flooding after the heavy rains hit the area yesterday, and now a state of emergency is underway in Dane County. We'll have team coverage of the flooding all across our area.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3. Dane County has declared a state of emergency for record rainfall and ongoing flooding in the county.
We have live team coverage of the aftermath from the flooding with Rose Schmidt in Middleton, Adam Duxter in Madison, and Gary Canalti in the Weather Center. But first, we begin with the latest information. As Mayor Paul Soglin addressed emergency management leaders and press this afternoon, he said they are estimating right now about $250,000 in damages, but that number could go up into the millions in the coming weeks. He said this permanently damaged some roads and buildings. They also have to get stranded cars out from the middle of roadways. He said people really need to know just how bad this is.
Cannot repeat it enough. When there's a barricade up, don't drive through the standing water. And even if there's no barricade, turn around. The alternative is going to be far safer. People in the private sector.
There are a lot of agencies from the city that will continue to work on this. Police, fire, streets, and Parks and Rec, all on it, trying to open more roads that were closed by water and abandoned cars.
Now, many roads are starting to open in Dane County after the flooding, but now Dane County officials are confirming they're monitoring developing flooding situations in the Belleville area. Officials say they're concerned about the Sugar River and the flooding there on Lake Belleville. These photos from a viewer in Belleville Community Park. The Belleville Fire Department says no one has been evacuated. They are continuing to monitor that situation.
Water rescues are still underway in Mazomanie after record rainfalls there. Dane County Emergency Management says a significant portion of the village has been damaged by floodwaters. Helicopter video shows most of the town is underwater. County officials say 100 people are being sheltered at the Mazomanie fire station. And a number of roads are still closed in Middleton, but luckily the water is receding.
Middleton police officers are still monitoring those roads. They want to remind people not to drive through barricades if they see them. Rose Schmidt joins us live from right off the Beltline, near Greenway Boulevard, to tell us about a day that people in Middleton will never forget. Rose?
That's right. Now, they tell me that the water was actually up to their chest yesterday, but luckily in this area it has receded quite a bit today. Dozens of cars were actually stalled in the middle of the streets here after people drove through standing water last night and got stuck. A number of the cars actually had to be towed to Lodi. The city of Middleton itself suffered a fair amount of infrastructure damage to streets, sidewalks, and paths. But the city's mayor and police chief tell me the worst of it was the Pheasant Branch Nature Preserve, where what used to be a creek is now full of rushing water.
Most devastating that I've seen so far is our public lands or parks and the pathways through our parks, which are kind of behind the police station, among other things, just damaged severely, and that's going to take a long time to repair.
The inside of the Costco store in Middleton suffered large amounts of damage as well. More than 50 customers and employees stayed there overnight. Crews are working today to clean up the water inside. Now, a number of business owners in this area tell me that they are still going to be closed over the next couple of days as they have lots and lots of water to clean up on the inside. Back to you.
All right, Rose Schmidt, live in Middleton near Greenway Station. Rose, thank you.
And businesses and hotels on Deming Way in Middleton were host to a number of flood refugees today.
As high water made it impossible to get out, cars were stalled all over the place nearby. News 3's Jess Garb tells us how one woman says her Wisconsin vacation was much more eventful than she bargained for.
We got back to the hotel about 7:30.
An evening meant to be exploring the Cave of the Mounds turned instead into a day underwater.
3 feet deep in the road out there. All these cars were in the water last night.
Delise Knight and her husband Paul are in town from Georgia.
This clump right here, this huge clump, is actually from the lake that's out there.
You know,
that was all washed up.
And still can't believe their eyes.
Of course, we're used to rain, but we're not used to this low-lying flooding.
Floodwaters forced drivers out of their cars and into the Hilton Garden Inn where the Knights were staying.
The guy stalled out, and because of all the electrical, he couldn't get his windows down and he couldn't get his door open. We talked to him when he made it to the hotel. He used a wrench to bust his window out to climb out to get to us.
They spent the night helping others.
So that's the railroad culvert.
And are spending the day looking at shocking sights like railroad ties hanging in midair, and in other ways, celebrating.
Your tow truck's here. Woo-hoo! Well, I'm so glad you're safe.
With people who miles away became sort of like family.
Trucks and cars and carpet can be replaced, but people cannot. So we're just real grateful everybody was all right.
Our Jessica Arp reporting. We spoke tonight to the hotel staff at the Hilton Garden Inn there, who say the hotel is open, taking guests, but they are still working to repair their computer systems and first floor areas that have been damaged by the water.
The Red Cross is helping residents displaced in Dane County due to the flooding. There are 3 shelters available for residents. One at West High School on Ash Street in Madison, another at Glacier Creek Middle School in Cross Plains, and the Mazomanie Elementary School.
All right, well, we've got to figure out what's going to happen in the days ahead. Hopefully people can get dried out. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti in the Weather Center. Gary.
Eric, the good news is we've got 2 days of dry weather, basically for tomorrow and Thursday. Next chance of showers and thunderstorms will hold off until later Thursday night. A flood warning remains in effect for until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for all of the western and central portions of Dane County. That was ground zero for this historic rainfall. Many locations between 10 and 15 inches of rain along and north of U.S. Highway 14 from Middleton up to Cross Plains and Mazomanie, and then up to about Springfield Corners. Also another area of perhaps as much as 10 to 15 inches of rain northeast of Mount Horeb. Many locations between 6 and 10 inches or more of rain as far south as the border between Dane and Greene counties, and as far east as the west side of Madison. But the good news is the rain that's fallen today has been very light, it's been showery, and it's been mainly over southeastern Wisconsin. Plenty of clouds around here, but that is actually making the atmosphere a little bit more stable. It's keeping us cooler and keeping the threat for rain away. Current temperatures here in Madison, we've dropped to 68. Temperatures are in the upper 60s to the lower 70s. Dew point temperatures still in the lower 60s. Those will come down as well as we dry out later on tonight. Look for temperatures to drop off into the lower 50s by tomorrow morning as skies clear out. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and a pleasant day, and a dry one as well. High temperature at 75 degrees. As we take a look at first alert traffic moving pretty steadily on the Beltline at Gammon Road, heading in either direction on the Beltline, but still the ramps at University Avenue are closed. U.S. Highway 14 closed from the Beltline through Black Earth and Mazomanie all the way out to Spring Green. Use Wisconsin Highway 60 as an alternate up to US 12 and then come back down US 12. Also to the south, Wisconsin 69 south of Verona closed to Highway PB from 18151. Use Highway PB as an alternate. That is your first alert traffic.
Gary, thank you. And it is a sad ending tonight to the search for a Madison man swept away in the floodwaters on the city's west side.
First responders spending more than 12 hours searching. News 3's Adam Duxter joins us from Green Tree Park on the west side of Madison with the latest. Adam.
Well, Madison firefighters say it was a wrong turn down this bike path outside of Madison's Green Tree Park on the city's west side that last night caused the car to go all the way here into this creek where floodwaters washed over it and the 3 people inside of it. Now, this all happened last night at around 9 p.m. and according to first responders, the 2 passengers inside the vehicle, well, they were able to make it out safely, but the driver was swept away by the current and eventually drowned. It took responders more than 13 hours to find the man, and they say that the rain made him more difficult to find.
But obviously the large expanse here and how much water there was, it was kind of hard to pinpoint. So we were using different theories on hydraulics and the way water moves and that type of stuff, and that's really what led us to that point.
Madison first responders telling me they made over 50 responses to water rescues last night. And as for how common something like this is, well, it is incredibly uncommon. In fact, the fire officials telling me today this is the first time in recent memory that they can remember anything like this happening. Now, as for what we know about this man, well, we know he's in his 70s and we know he's from the Madison area, but we're still waiting on an autopsy to learn more details about him. You can keep tuned to our website, channel3000.com. As soon as we learn those details, we'll have them up there.
Tragic story. All right, Adam Duxter reporting live. Thank you.
And right now, Western Dane County is seeing the worst of this, with many roads still impassable, as Gary mentioned this afternoon.
News 3's Josh Spreiter has the latest from there.
The rising floodwaters of the Black Earth Creek created for some dangerous conditions across western Dane County.
This is brutal.
Daylight brought devastating images for thousands in southern Wisconsin, but Monday's record rainfall left those in western Dane County hardest hit. In Cross Plains, News 3 viewer Mark Strait captured this: a car dealership along the creek taking on feet of water, some vehicles even being swept into the rising creek. And farther west in Black Earth, roads and bridges were washed away, even a milk truck falling victim. Homes and businesses, including the shoebox, are now just beginning the lengthy cleanup process. Owner Steve Schmidt said the water was waist high at one point, leaving much of his inventory soaking wet. But many say they're glad it wasn't any worse.
I'm all right. There's people in Black Earth that are going to lose their walls, their basements, and Mazo too, so we'll survive. We'll be all right tomorrow. It'll be a tough day today, but we'll get through it. First time we had to close here in 51 years of business because of an interruption, so that's pretty good.
And while many businesses remain closed today, business owners tell me they'll work to reopen as quickly as possible, and they wouldn't be able to do it without the hard work of the community. Reporting in Black Earth, I'm Josh Breiter for WISC News 3.
And private property owners with damage are being asked to call 211. Businesses that have experienced flood damage are encouraged to contact their local unit of government to document those losses in preparation of a possible disaster assistance application.
Well, right now, the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District crews are responding to numerous reports of sanitary sewer overflows. Officials say that sanitary backups are being reported in Fitchburg, on Madison's far west side, near the Madison Marriott West, and in the Spring Harbor neighborhood. They say residents experiencing flooding, including basement backups, should treat all floodwaters as contaminated. Be aware of the risk of electrocution. Avoid wading in the floodwater and report water entering your home.
Hundreds of Madison gas and electric customers are still without power after the storms last night. Officials say more than 400 customers' natural gas has been shut off due to flooding and damages. A majority of the outages are being reported in Madison, Middleton, and Cross Plains. Officials say about 800 customers in Black Earth, Cross Plains, Mazomanie, and Middleton may have their service interrupted due to flooding. Officials with MG&E say they are unable to estimate when service will be restored.
And Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center is preparing for an influx of wild animals. The Humane Society says animals including rabbits, squirrels, and birds are very vulnerable during periods of heavy rains and high winds. The society says if you find an animal that you believe is in need of assistance, contact the Humane Society. The number is area code 608-287-3235. You can stay safe and informed with News 3. Download our Channel 3000 weather app. It is available for free in your phone's app store.
Well, there's more to come on News 3 at 5. A man accused of killing a Wanakee woman last week is in court. We'll have the latest from his initial hearing.
Now let's take a look at the day on Wall Street. The Dow up more than 63 points. The Nasdaq closing by adding 38. The S&P 500 up almost 6. We'll be right back. Cash bail has been set at $1 million for the man accused in the Wanakee fatal shooting of a 54-year-old woman in front of her son and grandson.
78-year-old Ronald Jenny is facing a charge of first-degree intentional homicide at an apartment complex in Wanakee Friday that killed 54-year-old Julie Anderson. Jenny was in court today for his bail bond hearing. He's the resident of the apartment complex in the 200 block of Kearney Way where the shooting took place. He surrendered to police Friday after a brief standoff. He is expected to be back in court again next week.
New developments in the case of a missing Iowa student. Police now say a man in the U.S. illegally is charged with the murder of Molly Tibbetts. According to CBS News, 24-year-old Christian Rivera has been charged with her death. Tibbetts' body discovered in a field near Brooklyn, Iowa. Officials say surveillance video shows a car that is traced back to Rivera. She was kidnapped while out for a jog last month. A team of 40 investigators interviewed dozens of residents and searched nearby farms and fields for weeks.
At this point now, the hard science kicks in. People want to be very reserved until we get that report from the medical examiner, which is going to be very telling, and that's going to be the hard science.
Now, police say the cause of death is still unclear. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow.
Accused killer Chris Watts went before a Colorado judge today. Watts is facing 5 murder charges, a charge of unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with the bodies. Police say he killed his wife Shannon and their 2 daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste. An arrest affidavit revealed the 33-year-old was having an affair with a co-worker and told Shannon that he wanted a separation. Watts told police shortly after that conversation he saw his wife strangling one daughter and went into a rage and strangled Shannon. Police found all 3 bodies after they say Watts confessed and revealed that he hid them in an oil field where he worked. There is a verdict in the Paul Manafort trial. After a nearly 2-week trial and 4 days of deliberations, a 12-person jury came back with a partial verdict, finding Paul Manafort guilty on 8 charges, but unable to reach a decision on the other 10. Prosecutors argued that President Trump's former campaign manager failed to pay taxes on tens of millions of dollars he earned from his lobbying work on behalf of pro-Russia Ukrainian politicians between 2010 and 2016, and that he lied so he could keep himself flush with cash. The judge declared a mistrial on the other 10 counts. Manafort still faces sentencing and another trial. Sources close to him say he is banking on a presidential pardon.
And Michael Cohen, the president's former attorney, has reached a plea deal with the Department of Justice. Cohen's pleaded guilty to the charges, including campaign finance fraud stemming from hush money payments to porn actress Stormy Daniels and ex-Playboy model Karen McDougal. In his guilty plea, Cohen says hush money payments to women were made, quote, at the direction of Trump. The other charges involve bank fraud and income tax evasion. Cohen's plea follows months of scrutiny from federal investigators and a falling out with the president, whom he had previously said he would, quote, take a bullet for. FBI raids in April sought bank records, communications with the Trump campaign, and information on payments to both Daniels and McDougal.
I'm not surprised by the news. The only thing I'm surprised about is that it took this long. I think the likelihood, well, I know the likelihood of him providing information damaging about the president is 100%.
Well, this plea deal could have potential backlash for the president, as you just heard, with speculation that Cohen may be willing to tell prosecutors some of the secrets that he helped Trump keep.
Let's head out to the backyard weather patio now. Gary Canalti with our first alert forecast. Dry for now.
It's cloudy out here, but it is dry, and that's the important thing. And it looks like it'll stay dry through Thursday evening before we see the next chance of showers and thunderstorms later Thursday night. Take a look at some of these rainfall totals yesterday, and you just have to shake your head in disbelief at some of these numbers. 15.33 inches in Cross Plains, Middleton over 11.5 inches, Verona around 11 inches, Shorewood Hills just shy of 10 inches, Mount Horeb 6 2/3 inches. Officially, the Dane County Regional Airport on the east and northeast side of Madison, which is away from the heavier rain, still picked up 3.92 inches of rain through early this morning. The 3.78 inches that fell yesterday, a record for the day by more than 2 inches. Flood warning remains in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for the the western portion of Dane County. You can clearly see where the heaviest rains fell, generally just northeast of Mount Horeb, and then in a band from Middleton up toward Mazomanie and Cross Plains and up toward Springfield Corners. But heavy rains of in excess of 5 to 6 inches from the west side of Madison and Fitchburg through Verona Arizona and down toward Mount Vernon. You can see on Doppler track yesterday how the showers started to develop from the south, and then the heavier rains moved in by late afternoon and just sat over western Dane County, just sat there. And it rained and rained until finally it broke up a little bit and then came back again during the overnight hours before it finally ended this morning. Now, as we take a look at Doppler track, you can see just a few sprinkles of rain over far southeastern Wisconsin and northeastern Illinois, and that is it. Into the north and west, really don't see much of anything, so that's good news there. Now, the severe weather outlook for Thursday already calling for the threat for severe weather into parts of western Minnesota and western Iowa. Some of those storms will reach us on Friday. Whether or not they'll be severe still remains to be seen, but take a look at the precipitation potential from the GFS computer model. Very little up until early Friday morning, and then perhaps about 3/4 of an inch through the day on Friday into Saturday, and then some off and on shower and thunderstorm chances. Most of the time it'll be dry through Sunday with perhaps another 1/3 of an inch, and then perhaps another inch or so as we head from Tuesday night into Wednesday, and that could bring total rainfall amounts generally around 1.5 to 2.5 inches through southern Wisconsin, but there'll be localized heavier amounts. It's just hard to say who will get them. Hopefully it won't be in the areas that have already received the excessive precipitation over the last week, including areas to the east like around Waterloo. As we check out the visible cloud track, you can see the skies starting to clear across much of Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. So these low clouds that you see on the Platteville Queen Bee Radio Skycam, not bringing in any rain, but they are keeping the temperatures down, which is good news. It keeps rain from developing here in southern Wisconsin. The WISC Skycam pretty gray. And take a look at the view of the Edgewater Skycam, how high Lake Mendota is to the piers there, and also the waves on the lake. 74 the high for today, the low 62, and right now we're at 68 with mostly cloudy skies. Forecast for tonight, slight chance of an evening shower, mostly cloudy this evening, but then becoming clear and cooler overnight with a low of 53. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant, high temperature at 75. On future track, what shower chances there are will be gone by mid-evening. Then look for skies to clear overnight with lows in the lower 50s. High temperatures tomorrow, middle 70s, with plenty of sunshine. Mostly clear for tomorrow night with low temperatures in the middle 50s. And Thursday, mostly sunny with highs in the mid to upper 70s. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you'll see those temperatures remaining in the 70s into Friday with shower and thunderstorm chances, but then we jump up into the 80s beginning this weekend and perhaps upper 80s by early next week. Humidity levels will be higher, and that could lead to some periodic thunderstorm chances. As we take a look at first alert traffic, again, there are several major roads that are closed and a number of side streets that are running into problems and some closures as well. That's the view from the DOT camera at the Beltline and Gammon Road. Again, the ramps from the Beltline to University Avenue closed. University Avenue or US 14 from the Beltline westward through Black Earth, Mazomanie, and all the way out to Spring Green is closed. Use Highway 60 up to US 12. Wisconsin 69 between Verona, south of Verona, down toward Paoli. That's closed. Use Highway PB as an alternate. On the Beltline, actually not too bad in the eastbound direction. About a 18-minute trip from University Avenue to the Beltline, heading out of Madison. 24 minutes to Sun Prairie from downtown on US 151. Otherwise, normal travel times on the other main roads. That is your first alert traffic.
A little quieter this time than it was yesterday. All right, Gary, thank you.
Sure.
Still ahead of News 3 at 5, a local middle school making some changes. We'll tell you about Sherman Middle School's year of renewal when we come back.
Authorities are working to find out what caused a train derailment last night at Wauwatosa.
According to the Wauwatosa Fire Department, around 10 p.m., 13 train cars veered off the tracks near the 1200 block of Capitol Drive. Some cars were turned on their sides, allowing sand to spill out of them. No injuries reported. No roads were shut down. Investigators still aren't sure what caused this derailment. Train company said they would take care of the cleanup.
A local middle school is launching its year of renewal. Sherman Middle School staff and families, along with friends, neighbors, and American Family employees, are making internal and external changes to the school. The changes include revamping the staff lounge, community room, making over the bathrooms, sprucing up the grounds, and renewing the playground equipment. American Family donating $15,000 to help with the project.
And we'll take one more look at the forecast as we try to dry out. It's next at 5. Finally at 5, impressive video of a coastal storm that sprouted a waterspout captured just off the beaches in Panama City, Florida.
You can see the waterspout just to the left of the storm system. The storm prompted the National Weather Service to issue a marine warning instructing boaters to wear life jackets and move to a secure location. Waterspouts have been known to create sudden high waves and even capsize vessels. But thankfully, in this scenario, no injuries reported. One last thing we have to worry about.
There were waterspouts on Lake Michigan, too,
yeah,
from these storms. So, yeah, and special
we know a thing or two about rain around here now.
Yeah, just a little bit. But we still have temperatures that are in the upper 60s to around 70. But a flood warning remains in effect for western Dane County through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Good news, not seeing much rain out there. 7 to 10 day forecast, dry weather tomorrow and Thursday, shower and thunderstorm chances Friday, and then warmer weather as we head through the weekend into next week with some thunderstorm chances as well.
All right, we'll have more updates, 30 minutes, News 3 at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.
Have a good evening.